Hello again. So, in the last episode, we had blue people, green people, more green people, yellow people, and you may notice something. If you have good eyes, or just like literally any visual sensation at all, there's something in the corner of the screen. A light blue oval. Why is there a light blue oval? Huh? Why is that there? Well, there's a light blue oval because I decided to draw all the nomadic tribes because there were humans all around the place. Look, they're everywhere. There's also something interesting you may notice at the corner of the screen. Yeah, turns out another civilization exists. It came off of these nomadic people, and down this river came some material from civilization. And these people, they know about these people already. But they're like, what is this? Wait. Then they meet civilization, because some random dude walked over here. So he was trying to find the next coast. He also found another coast. And then this thing founded, but he left. He's not part of this. He's still part of like the blue or green team. Their country. Whatever. Anyways, this video may be a lot more noisy and probably a lot shorter because someone's probably going to randomly walk into this room. Anyways, this nomadic tribe is going to convert to this red team's ways mostly. The red team, their technology is definitely not as advanced. But I mean, they can see mostly the rest of this gulf. I mean, not really. I mean, if you walked over here, like, you could see it pretty well. Yeah. Anyways, they explore this because they know it exists. And they're like, wow, that guy was cool. But he's probably gonna die. Anyways, then the nomads over here are like, we're just gonna abandon all this land. We're just gonna stop. So they just don't exist anymore. I mean, the people there still exist. They just all moved up there and didn't integrate themselves. Anyways, this is the map. This is what I drew. There's a lot of, like, jungle around here, I think. This is sort of, like, Central America, sort of. This up here, this is sort of, like, Africa. This is, like, I don't know, Southern Europe. I don't know. Then over here, like, this is just some very flat, boring land. Up here is sort of Russia. I mean, this island is just warmer than this. Like, over here it's super cold, and over here it's just, like, normal. And then, yeah, also these are fjords. So all of this land is pretty cold. Except it's actually just a mountain range. Like, there's a little mountain range that makes all of this super cold. And then everything else is just super warm. And then, yeah. Anyways, the blue guys, they decide that their land is small. 'Cause logic. And they decide that they're going to expand. And they know there's people over here. And they're like, hey, we manufacture money. Maybe we can get them to follow our economic thingy, because we're the economic people. Yay. So they explore down this coast. But then they get bored, because it doesn't look like there's anything interesting there. I don't think there's anything interesting there. But they keep bridging out with land. They're moving people over here, so then they might meet up with those people. They've heard from him, the guy who has been promoted to a government rank dude. Which, not because he's, like, super cool or anything, just because he knows lots of stuff. I mean, I guess he's super cool, so they just have him in government rank, 'cause. And then the first ever embassy is invented, because this guy actually really liked this place. So he's moved there as an embassy, sort of. That's the right word, like. whatever the guy, ambassador, yeah. Like, that's the same word, right? I hope I'm not saying something really stupid right now. Anyways, these guys are like, hey, there's civilization down there, and they agree to divide themselves up between people. They just decide that we're going to join these civilizations because we are actually going through a massive famine right now because for some reason the winter was super cold this year, and now we're all going to die. So all of these people join the green team, and they make the territory of the green team much bigger. And a few people over here just move to the red team. Like, all the people in that section just walked over to the red team and said, hey, we're going to join you. So now all those people are gone. Also, they're moving into these other lands. And then the people here decide, we're going to found our own nation. And it's going to be blue. Because I think blue is a cool color. And it turns out that all the other people there were being pretty divided, and it was going to result in some pretty messy borders. Also, this makes the rivers look really ugly. But anyways, the blue people are like, hey, we may not be good at anything, like literally anything, but we're still going to exist here, because why not? And then the blue team and the green people, yeah, they decide that they're going to just split this land because they can't be bothered to fill it in. No one actually lives here. They're just claiming the land because they've made a map. Just a meeting map. It's going to be destroyed after the meeting, I guess. Anyways, they decided, yeah, whatever, let's just make a straight line. Sort of like Canada and the United States. Straight lines! Wow! 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 Also, this side of the river, like, there's a tiny portion there, so they just join up. Not that they can really see them, so that's sort of like their own nation, but it's not powerful enough. Anyways, the red team, they meet them. The red people, I gotta stop saying team. The country represented by the color red joins up with them, and they are able to get them to follow the economy, and the ambassador thing appears, and these people are taught sailing by these people, and they sail to these two islands. It's not like you can really tell for the bottom one, but yeah, promising you, that is a thing. There are people doing that. Yeah, totally. What happens if I turn that off? That's the wrong layer. I'll just remove a bit of this. Okay, that's on a different layer. No, wait, that I wasn't touching it. Anyways, it's not like I need to clean this up. It's pretty good anyways. That layer back on. Yep, that's pretty good. Let's fill in a bit more with the red. And yeah, they own this entire ocean, but this entire ocean, they claim the water is theirs. It's their water. Say, my water, this water is mine. So yeah, this entire little sea channel thingy, yeah, the little channel, it's theirs. And so is the Gulf. I need to stop turning layers off. And because they're now so very civilized now, that they deserve a capital, and instead of putting it on the river like they should, instead they put it right next to the river. Sort of, not really. I mean, it's not a long walk anymore now that sandals have probably been invented or something, but that would have been a long walk back in the day. Now it's just like a medium level inconvenience. And these people, they place their capital right there on that side of the river because this side has a lot less people, the other side has lots more. And also people have invented bridges now. They're really ineffective, And they're essentially just 3 knocked over trees. And then the branches are cut off. But yeah, bridges have been invented, which is very convenient. But they're still using river borders. Anyways, the yellow people decide the mountains aren't that bad. I mean, they're not that bad. So they go up this hill. And then an avalanche happens. They claim all the land. But they're like, oh my gosh. Okay, so some ice is... Okay, done it. So some ice is good. And other ice is very, very, very evil. So they decide that they do not want to get anywhere near that sort of ice. But they claim this land is theirs. They claim this little river bit is theirs. And they own that entire section of the river now. Oh, also, like, this dark section I said the people were utterly terrified of. Yeah, that's, like, just some rivers connecting. Also, these people, they still own that. Yeah, that was never part of the yellow team, ever, yeah. Speaking of these people and expanding, and, I mean, not expanding and stuff. Well, okay, yeah, but they got it. They expand down here. Of course, like, no one's living here. Also, they realize they can sail over here, so then they start sailing. And then one dude ends up accidentally sailing all the way over here somehow. And they say, hey, this land, it doesn't look like you want it very much, so we're gonna take it. Turns out that getting an isthmus is actually really important. Also, there's a lot of nomads here, so they find these guys and they're like, they eat them all. And the blue people say, okay, if you're going to expand, I'm not letting you expand any further than that. Also, we get a tiny bit of the isthmus. Sort of, not really tiny, but, yeah, we get a bit of it. And these people say, oh my gosh, it's actually really hard to get here. And a lot of people have died trying, so they take over all of this little peninsula. And it turns out that there's an overpopulation crisis. And that also, this country is like, it used to be super centralized. It's literally the least centralized country in the entire universe. And I mean in the world. Look how uncentralized this is. But this is also where all of their population is. But speaking of not being centralized, the people over here are like, hey, can we have our freedom? We'll pay you money if you give us freedom. Because we're too far away from you to actually reach you anymore. And they say, oh yeah, okay, but we're keeping the isthmus bit. And you can't expand too far. So they actually agree to that, and they say, okay, we'll just make a little bean shape right there, and that's our country. And we'll just plop our capital. Yeah, we'll just plop our capital somewhere random. Plonk for... Nope. I said plonk for maximum centralization, which you guys very much do not have. Also, it's really hard to get here. So these guys are essentially a puppet state of the people. And these people, like, there's essentially no one there. It's just a land claim. And then they still want the isthmus. But turns out that some of the nomads over here are actually aggressive. So, okay, that's the wrong layer. Actually aggressive. And they attack these people in a very disorganized way. And these people say, if you're going to attack us, at least attack us to organize. We're not letting this happen. And oh my gosh, there's a river, and it's actually a nice river. We're going over here, and holy, there's a lake. And they're very confused, but they can't be bothered to figure out what the heck the science is. And they easily conquer the nomads over there, even though they're actually stronger. And these people over here decide that if there's going to be all of these people here, because they were pretty disconnected from these people. They didn't really care about them much. And also there's like those guys. But anyways, they decide to migrate down to this river that they know about. And everyone just moves. I mean, they were already sort of moving in this direction. But they move down here into land that they suddenly realize isn't jungle and is actually really great. So now no one's living on this peninsula. I mean, it's not like many people were. And most of the people in here have moved away. So now, even though there are still people living there, and they're still pretty aggressive and killing a lot of the people here, which is, so they say, okay, we're giving more autonomy onto you. We're taking it. I'm like, okay, whatever. So they have even more power on them. They're taking away their autonomy, sort of, whatever. And then they do this, and they find this little thing, and they say, hey, blue team, you want it? And they say, okay. And I just realized that's the same thing. So the blue guys, I said team again, darn it. And they say, okay, actually, so I know you're going to expand there, but can we have like a little port city? A few little port cities, actually. And they say, okay. Well, they aren't cities. These are just like some port areas. And then red fills in the rest. And then also I'll just clean up a little bit there. Yeah, there. Good. Blue guys, they expand down here and they find this dude with a dart gun and they are very, very scared. So they actually declare war on the tribe up here, and the tribe, they actually just move away because like their leader was killed and some important people. There weren't many people living here. I mean, this land may as well stay empty. It's good to know that there are humans just living in very specific locations. Also, this isn't one tribe, this is a ton of tribes that happen to live in similar areas. These people say, hey, how about we establish a colony. Also, all of their boats were built by these guys, so these guys get even richer, which is also why they got this. And the red guys say, we're gonna go over here. And hey, look, no one's thought to cross this river, except they actually have. So we'll let them have that. But look, not many people have actually thought to cross it. So we'll just take a little bit that was crossed. I mean, it's not like actually any people live here, and they just jump over the river. They say, oh, well. And these people connect up their land, and they are ridiculously big. They should not be this big. But remember, most of this is just silly land claims. Also, science. Anyways, the yellow team decides that they are going to get a monopoly, no matter the cost. So they actually settle the mountains. How unthinkable. They used to hate it so much. And they take this, and they explore this side of this river for some reason, instead of the other side. And they take the mountains. I mean, that's all the mountains. Yep, all of them. So there are actually a few little ones that don't have much snow on them, but people are like, hey, if there's a bit of ice, we may as well have it. And they decide to pay these guys for a monopoly on the base of this river, which isn't really much of a monopoly. It's not much of a thing you even need to own. It is a pretty large, I mean, it's I guess it's essentially the true base of this river, but it's not really that important. Also, there's a hill here, just saying. That's why it's split into two. And there is a lot of ice in these mountains, like a lot of ice. And they sell that and they say, hey, this is amazing. And they essentially invent ice cream. Because, of course, the people down there turn it into ice cream because they have fruits from this, which goes across here, up to here, into here, around to there, and it's got spread. So that is the ice cream trade. Isn't it just great? There's an ice cream trade system. It's not the transatlantic slave system trade thingy. It's the ice cream trade system of whatever this Gulf is. Isn't that just great? Yeah. And then, yeah. Also, this colony, it's essentially the same as these guys. They're just barely autonomous. They only take, like, the river. I mean, we're not doing the Gambia thing here. They're not just a river. They also take this, and they don't have, ow, little port cities. Ow, I just smashed my toe against something. And they take this and do a little bit of expanding to make their borders more rounded. And those people are like, hey, we want this, but yep, you can have all that. Oh, gosh, no. And that's the ice cream trade. And again, these people are barely even autonomous. But I also couldn't think of a better way to integrate, like, stuff. Also, that entire city is essentially just a plantation. Like, there just happens to be a banana plantation there. So, yeah. Anyways, that's the world. Yay. Cool, fun, amazing. I don't know how long I've known this. Yeah. That's great. Also, they still don't have access to this thing, which is actually really important. So these guys say, hey, how about we go down this entire coast conveniently on the wrong layer. They go down the coast, and they find these two islands. They island hop between the islands onto here, and they decide that, hey, pink team, sorry, but you can't have this little bit of land. It's ours because we were island hopping and we found something. And the pink team are like, I didn't even realize there was land there. I mean, there's probably land everywhere. We don't know about it. And these people see the islands. Actually, they don't see the islands over here. They see this one, sort of. I mean, they see it, but they just don't realize. They don't know how to get to it because it turns out that there's a current going on right over there, and it's moving all their boats the wrong direction, so they accidentally crash into this island, but the island is essentially like Canada, and they don't like it. So they move back, fill in the rest of this pretty neutral, easy-to-get land. And, yeah. That's what happens. And, man, are they forming an empire that is, to say the least, severely hindered by this green team. Yeah, you see, green team, it's a bit of a very, very large problem that you guys are, so close to the capital. Yeah, I mean, I might not do anything with that. More likely than not, I won't do anything with it, but I might. The end.